What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing out there tonight? Oh boy, it is Thursday. Hey, did you guys notice something back there? I changed the calendar this time because I finally understood what the hell you guys were talking about last week. Boy howdy, what a week it was. Hope you guys all had a good one. I sort of did. It was a weird kind of week. Had some really good ups and had some really good downs and really bad downs, I should say, actually. Let's go over to the chat. We got 5 people watching right now, at least from what I can tell. And let's see who we got here. Ben Coombs in the house. Aaron Albus Band in the house as well. RJ DeMad1, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for joining in again. Jay Steen in the chat as well. All right, we got the usual suspects here. How y'all doing this day? Fine day. Yes, Aaron, it is a very nice 7-string, and it does got that growl. So a growl is actually coming from, I put together a little live stream pedal board going on tonight. So we got the TC Polytune 2 to keep us in tune and do all that good stuff. The new neighbor Neuron is doing all the gain and all the clean stuff. Haven't really played too much of the 7-string recently, so I've been trying to get back a little into it, get rid of the shift, so to speak. Doug J in the house from England. Whoa, boy. Thank you for joining in. It's 4:04 a.m. over there. Jeez, man. Good on you. Thanks for joining in. Really appreciate it, man. So after the Neuron, we got the Vertex Boost running, which is, you know, people like to crap on Vertex a lot, but the Vertex Boost is probably one of the best clean boost pedals that I have played. Here's the little bit of boost. It's clipping the direct sound a little bit, but it's just absolutely clean. There's nothing like it. I got the Mission Expression pedal hooked up to it as well, so I get some to control the volume, which is kind of cool. TC Flashback 2. With the Chaos Crescendo dialed in, and then the native audio. Ghost Ridge for all the reverb. It's great stuff. All good stuff on the board. Brian Coate joining in. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Thanks so much for taking the time to join in on the live stream. I've been catching some of the things that you've been putting up on Facebook and haven't had much time to watch a bunch of stuff recently. It's been a kind of a busy week for me. But thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate that. Aaron commenting with, he's good with Mason and Vertex. Dude made a mistake, owned it, rectified, and is back making cool stuff. It's actually very true. You know, he went to a lot of work to try to do right by people that felt that they were wronged. So you got to give the guy credit. You really have to, you know, and a lot of people don't want to, because I think, you know, people love negativity, so they want to hang on to it. We know what hanging on to negativity leads to. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing. So let's play around with some of this stuff a little bit. Let's go ahead, add on that thing. You know, I'm actually going to switch up the 7-string now. Grab the Ramos. And I'm pretty sure this is in tune. I changed the strings on 4 different guitars on Sunday. So everything still needs a good stretch. Good little bit of working in. I just love the way that this thing sounds. Learned a little Jeff Buckley tune. Something's not in tune, right? Something is. You know, I'm tuned down half a step. That's probably the problem. Whatever it is, I learned it. I played it in a demo I filmed today that'll be coming out sometime next week. But I'm excited for you guys to see the Neuron demo, because this is a beastly pedal. Yeah, man, just a really great, all-around, good-sounding bit of kit right there. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat. See who we got. 11 people watching. Thank you all so much for joining in. If you would like to let us know who you are and where you're from, please do. I would love to know who all is watching out there. All right. Thank you, Aaron. I appreciate that compliment on the board. I figured this would be a really simple little thing to put together. What am I tuned to? This is the half step down with drop D right now. Great stuff. Oh, those Duncans really work for me tonight. Sounding much clearer tonight. Awesome. That's great, Ben. Thank you so much for the compliment. I'm actually just doing the live stream on the phone tonight. And so all you're hearing is literally I have the left-right going. Speakers just turned up, so you're getting the guitar all from that. The internal microphone on the phone is what's picking up my voice. But I'm glad that it's coming through loud and clear. That makes me feel really good. As we do these things, I'm trying to experiment with the setup and make it so that, you know, there's a good clear audio. You guys can hear what I say. You guys can hear the guitar, and it's not, you know, distorting in the bad way. It's not compressing and all that stuff. It's a weird thing because, you know, I'm able to use the webcam on my computer and input audio into the interface, and it just doesn't allow me to mix it very well. So if it's coming through loud and clear here, that's awesome. I do want to experiment because I do have an IK Multimedia iRig that I can plug into the phone, so I can basically take a headphone feed and put that into the phone so you guys can get, like, you know, really hear direct guitar. And I can use like a condenser microphone and use it for that kind of stuff. But the way the picture looks right now, I'm really pleased with it. And overall, it's just a really nice setup. All right, Terry's G and G in the house. How you doing, buddy? Thank you so much for joining in. Dwight Bailey from Mississippi. Dwight, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Really appreciate having you and hope you stay a while. Who else we got in the house? Amanda has popped up. Hello, dear. How are you tonight? That jazz master still treating you well? Just messing about, you know. Janice in the house is listening. Thank you for listening. I understand the feeling of listening like it's a podcast. This Nazgul pickup man with this Neuron is just... Great stuff. Muffled and mono-ish. I'll go. I always listen back to the audio that I record for this stuff, so I'm gonna listen to it again after doing all this, and maybe, you know, over the course of the weeks that we do this, we're gonna be constantly improving the audio. But the picture is looking really good. So I'm going to make some notes to myself on what exactly is going on. Just found out my new Harley Benton Delta Blues MJ Acoustic has issues. What kind of issues does it have? Dwight is asking, what amps do I use? Dwight, I'm an orange amps guy, personally. I got a Rocker Verb sitting next to me in the amp rack right now, and they also sent me the Pedal Baby 100. I've been an orange user for 10, 11 years now, That's been my main go-to, has been the rocker verb. But it's the Mark I version, so it's not without its shortcomings. Recently, I've noticed that the effects loop has been distorting a little bit more than I want it to. So that's been a little concerning. But I recorded a demo today with actually I recorded demos today with both of them, and they're my absolute favorite amplifiers. I will use them until I die. So that's what I use. By the way, the whole idea tonight is just we're going to hang out and we're going to chat. If you guys have any burning questions about anything related to gear, guitar, me as a person, if that so entertains you, then so be it. I just want to have a good old-fashioned hangout with you guys. Nothing too... It's not like we're going to have a big old topic or anything to discuss. All right, Terry is talking about his Harley Benton. The frets are not installed equally. I thought it sounded funny when I was playing the last 24 hours. Fret checked it. Frets are all over the place in spacing. Oh, that's spacing. Wow. I mean, you know, it's a Harley Benton, which has a really good reputation of being, you know, fairly quality instruments for the price. So to know that the fret spacing is kind of all over the place is a little discouraging. I'm not too happy to hear that. I hope in some way they can, you know, rectify the situation for you. Aaron is asking, now that I've had the pedal baby for a bit, how do I feel about it? Honestly, man, it's a great little piece. It right now, the way that I'm running it, I'm actually just full bore on the volume right now. So it's basically, I kind of looked at it like this. When I plug pedals into the Rocker Verbs power amp, it's that volume. It's that, you know, power amp stage is really all that I have, and I don't have a level control on it. So just leaving it wide open and then tailoring the bass and treble controls to maybe be just a little heftier. It's still a kind of an experimentation thing, but so far so good. It's not exactly it's a good platform to build on. And of course I'll say stuff like this in the demo that I eventually do of it. But the thing about it for me is that it's solid, it's powerful. I don't feel like if I smack the front end of it with something, it's gonna crap out on me. It's just an all-around cool sound. It's a cool functioning platform. But I almost always am running something into it. That really for me is, you know, and you'll see when I do the video, in and of itself, the pedal baby is fairly flat. You know, it's not meant to have a whole lot of life. You're supposed to put your pedals into it and have a good time there. We got some new people joining the chat. Hello, Charlie S. Thank you so much for joining in tonight. Hope you had an awesome day, my friend. And we have Quentin James in the house. Probably the most badass name in the house. Had a couple other things here. Terry, This newer model acoustic they just launched, and the alignments of the frets on the fretboard there is no way they should have let these leave Toma, let alone to Canada. Yeah, you're probably right, man. You know, hopefully they'll work it out for you. I don't really know anybody at Tomon, so I can't really, you know, cause a stink for you. I wish I could, but I can't. But yeah, man, hopefully just get in touch with them somehow and just try to get them to rectify the situation for you. You shouldn't have to deal with that. Hold on one sec, guys. Something is going on with this thing. There we go. My phone case was being crushed and the volume control was constantly on. That was kind of weird. Anyway, Charlie's got a question. Don't know if you remember, I was asking you about studios. I pulled the trigger on a 2001 black studio with gold hardware. It's a beast at 9.5 pounds, original 490T pickups. Man, that's going to be a good one. A lot of people love the 90s studios, and I know because they're absolutely fantastic instruments. But I gotta tell you, man, like going into like the first like 5 years of the 2000s, they still had a really great quality. Of the 3 Les Pauls that I have, I believe 2 of them were made prior to 2006. So my black and silver, I believe, is 2003. I can probably tell from the serial number on the Bigsby one. This says 03 at the beginning, so I'm assuming that it's an 03. And then the BFG, it says 003 again, but I don't remember the BFGs, especially the Silverburst BFGs, coming out around that time. I bought mine in 2010, 2011. So, and the series had only been out, as far as the Silverburst BFG goes, it had only been out for like 3 years at that point. So, who knows? But good on you, man. Like, congrats on the new guitar. New Gear Day is always the best day of the week. And I'll tell you what, man. Those studios do not let you down. Enjoy it. And hey, if you have any chance to share some pictures on Instagram, tag me. I think my social stuff is in the description for the most part. Tag Stompbox Saturday. I want to see some pictures of that. That'll be really cool. Let's see what else is going on here. You guys are doing a lot of stuff. Apparently James brings trouble. I did not realize that. We like people who cause trouble around here. RJ to Mad One has had... Okay, you've had experience with the Hard Luck Kings stuff, because I've seen Hard Luck Kings advertisements on Facebook, and every time I look at them, I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. It just got, that just don't work out for me. How about Perfecto de Castro, everybody? How you doing, buddy? How about teas? You A's for teas? What kind of teas do you want? I got green. I got black. I got oolong. I got some Darjeeling, Amanda. I got teas. My wife is a big tea drinker, Perfecto. So I got teas. Oh, do I got teas? Got a lot of teas here. Yeah, Terry, just do what you can to get at him. You know, if you are friends with Henning on Facebook, he might be able to, you know, get you in touch with the proper people. But I know he's just going to tell you to have them send you a new one, which they should do, quite frankly. There's no excuse for that. As I said last week in the live stream, there's no excuse these days for a company to not be putting out a quality product. Jay is right, Terry. Sweetwater is just the absolute best when it comes to customer service. In fact, I think they're the only ones these days that understand customer service. I've had this week alone some really lame customer service experiences. People just don't know how to treat customers anymore, and it's a really sad thing. What's the latest news on CEO? You guys writing, practicing, playing out? What is the latest news on the band? We're slowly trying to get some new songs put out. We've got a lot recorded. We just need some proper bass tracks recorded to go along with it. So that's kind of the priority at the moment, is getting all the... We have bass tracks tracked, but after we lost that bass player, because bass players just don't seem to like to commit to anything, we just listened back to those tracks and just realized they weren't any good. So we're going to go back in to the sessions and we're going to re-record the bass tracks. I don't know if I'm going to end up doing that, but we'll see. Hopefully we'll have some new tunes out before the summer arrives. And as far as gigs, I wish I could tell you we were playing gigs. We're trying to get some... We got an offer to do something in San Diego, but I don't see us touring. I don't see us touring anytime soon, which is unfortunate because I love playing out, but playing out these days just hasn't been worth it, which is sad. RJ says, I have had peeps comment on my vids saying they got Hard Luck Kings guitars and they are as good as American-made guitars. Lol, they never had an American-made guitar. Wow, that's really sad. That's really sad. I've never had any experience with, but the fact that you're saying, you know, all that stuff is true. Terry's right, Quentin. It's not a Blonde 335, it's a natural finish Epiphone Casino, which I've had since I was 16 or something like that. Let's go ahead and plug this thing up. You guys saw this guitar in the Stompbox Saturday Christmas special. I did a little jazzy number with the wife, which was really fun. This is just a great guitar for that kind of stuff. sweet sounding guitar. Really cool instrument. It's just, you know, it's just a really fun guitar that I don't get to use all that often. Trying to read your guys' comments, but my they don't show up very well on mobile, so it's hard for me to really see. It's a very, you know, it gets me in the kind of old school rock kind of vibe. You know, it's Beatlesy and all that good stuff, you know. It's good stuff. Love it. Just love this guitar. I don't play it enough, and I really should. I really should. Yep, Terry, exactly right. No matter the country of origin, there is no excuse for poor quality anymore. There just really isn't. The top on this is really quite phenomenal, and it's one of the aspects of this guitar that makes me very wary of selling it, because I love Epiphone, and I love Casinos, and I love Gibson, and I love their guitars. These are kind of the guitars that I grew up on and really inspired me. But the newer Casinos have a stranger looking body shape than this. They don't quite have that like curvature of the 335 and the 333 or whatever. Plus, this one, I don't know if you guys can make that out, but it's a made in Korea Epiphone, which doesn't happen anymore. So it's a bit of a rarity, and I want to hang on to that, and I want to, you know, hold it, squeeze it, and all that good stuff. Apparently, Aaron thinks we need to vacation in Chicago. I wonder why. Actually, my old next door neighbor moved to Chicago about a year and a half ago, something like that. And he liked it, so that's good news. I personally would probably pick a Harley Benton over a Hard Luck Kings myself, RJ. I would agree with you on that one, just because I like the look of a lot of the Harley Benton stuff better than I like the look of some of the Hard Luck Kings stuff. The Hard Luck Kings stuff just isn't really my style, so yeah, that would be my reasoning for it. Let's see what we got going on. Okay, Aaron's asking me a bunch of questions, so I guess I gotta answer them. When did I start playing guitar? I started playing guitar when I was 11. I will not tell you how old I am right now because I've said it in videos before. Great little guitar. Yeah, I started when I was 11, right before I turned 12. It was not a love at first strum. It took a couple years before I was really into it, and it was all just being on stage that really kind of cemented it for me. That was really where it was at for me, and that's how I pretty much that's how I've always wanted to make my living playing the guitar, was performing and being on stage. So that makes the lack of gigs really kind of a bummer for me. Other than that, once I got to be 14, it was like, okay, that's the thing. Music around the house? Yeah, absolutely. Dad was a big Beatles fan. Michael Jackson, you know, all the good stuff. Beatles, Michael Jackson, and my dad actually, I would discover years later, was way more adventurous with his music buying than I really would have thought. I mean, I was so young in the 90s that a lot of that stuff kind of passed me by, and I had to just pick it up after, once I got older. And when I got older, you know, thumbing through his CD collection, it's like, he's got Pearl Jam, he's got Madonna, he's got Janet Jackson, he's got great old stuff. Batdorf and Rodney is probably one of my favorites that he introduced me to. But he even had like Tupac and Biggie and Snoop Dogg and like their first records in his collection. So, you know, it was really eclectic, and I didn't know that until I was much older. And that idea of having eclectic tastes always stuck with me. So it was always there. I did take lessons. I feel like if you really want to get better and you want to be a professional, you really should at some point in your life seek out, if not lessons or education, some sort of mentorship. Because there are just certain things that you're not going to learn on your own, that having somebody to guide you through the process is going to be a really handy thing. Personally, for me, I had private lessons from the time I started, and then when I got into MI, I had, of course, guitar classes all the time, and then as part of that, we also had private lessons, and having private lessons with teachers who played different styles and had a different approach to the instrument than the teacher that I had been going to since I was 11 years old was very handy. And I actually stayed on with that teacher while I was in MI, and I found all that perspective to be very, very helpful and very influential. And it helped me kind of fit into this weird category of liking stuff that was, you know, super and then but then equally going and having and then being able to that kind of weird chameleon thing of having a different amount of things that you're taking in, different information from different musical genres and styles, and then having to learn them to some sort of level of proficiency that you know, you'll make the grade. And having that was very, very cool. You know, I appreciated that so much, and having as many different influences and experiences as I did in school was a big, big help. And I started the band pretty much in college. Like, I was not ready to be in a band. I wanted to be in a band when I was younger, but I I was not ready for it until I got much more proficient at guitar and really started to understand who I was going to be, and being comfortable with that too. Once I started, really getting into writing. And just being comfortable in my own skin as a musician. Because being in high school, and the bands that inspired me, they were the new metal bands. They were bands that played 7-string guitars and tuned down low, because that was what rock music was when I was getting into it. And there was a clique of guys that didn't seem to like that and sought to make my life a living hell because of it. So now that I'm in a band that we write our songs, we incorporate some covers, but I'm comfortable with where I want to be. I just want to kind of push the boundaries of my sound and always try to be evolving, I guess I can say. So there you go. There's a little bit of that for you right there. Hey, it's Steve from Boston's former 7-string Chapman stick. It is a Chapman stick. I believe mine actually is... We'll take a look at the serial number. If you guys see really close, so they started making them in 2014, and there's 2 zeros and there's the number 27 ML7T. I'm inclined to believe that this is the 27th ML7T that was ever made, and I pretty much ordered it as soon as it was available on the Andertons website. I didn't even wait for American dealers to get stock. I wanted this thing right away. And I love it. It's a great guitar. All that stuff. Jay, I would have quit guitar if it wasn't for my friend I grew up with. Dad. He could play anything and heard I was trying to play. I played all the wrong stuff, and him teaching me right made me love guitar. And that, honestly, I know that experience because when I was starting out, I had a 3/4 size nylon string guitar, and that was very much not the size of this. And almost within, I would say, a 6-month time period from when I started lessons to I hit puberty, and my hands grew. And then all of a sudden, I'm playing these bar chord voicings, and every time I fret the damn chords, they won't fucking sound out. I can't get the thing to work. I was getting so frustrated and so discouraged because I'd go to play a chord and it would sound like... It was the most discouraging thing in the world, and I had no idea what to do. Then all of a sudden, I decide, one week, I'm going to borrow my dad's electric. He had an Epiphone Les Paul Special 2, which I ended up inheriting in a way. It became the guitar that I used predominantly. My dad's still alive, by the way. I didn't inherit in the sense of, I inherited it because he passed. He's still alive. He's still here. But it became my guitar, and once I did, it was like the clouds opened up. And everything was right with the world, and I was having a grand old time with it. It was awesome. Steve got rid of his because he didn't like the 7th string. Well, you know. Steve can do a lot with 6. So he probably doesn't need the 7, but I was yearning for that low B. Aaron, I did not realize I had never mentioned that I went to MI. Yeah. Went right out of high school, best decision I ever made. And I do try to, you know, be balanced as a player. And, you know, I'm the kind of guy that will be totally cool hearing like really heavy riffs and then just like really appreciate the hell out of like a Michael Landau solo. It's, you know, guitar is what I do. And it's like a carpenter should be able to appreciate the craft through everything that he does. And if you don't appreciate the way that Landau plays at the same time as you can't appreciate what Billy Joe Armstrong can do, you can't appreciate what a guy like Tosin Abasi does, but you do appreciate like Robin Trower or Jimi Hendrix, or even guys like Elliott Smith, Jeff Buckley. If you appreciate one way but you can't appreciate another, then you are going to have a very hard time when it comes to becoming a professional musician, because you're always going to be looking for one type of gig, and those type of gigs do not come around all the time, and you're not going to make a whole lot of friends. And relationships in music, in the entertainment business, are everything. So there you go. Amanda, I'm glad that it was some insight for you. You know, learning the guitar is not easy. I'll be the first person to say that. And the reason I'll say it is because I didn't like it at first. It was not what I wanted. But I stuck with it enough because I guess I was stubborn. And once I figured out that I really loved it, I kept up with it. And I'm glad that I did. It's my job now. So good luck. It will be hard, but try it. Just keep going. Like, if you get discouraged, don't get too discouraged. Just have your little moment to get mad, and then just move on. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. That bit I just played there was very beautiful. Kinda want a 7 'cause of Korn. Actually, Terry, that's exactly the band that made me want a 7-string. Absolutely. Because it was just, you know, Freak on a Leash came on TRL when I was a kid, and it just like, I remember hearing that riff for the first time, just thinking like, what the hell was that? And it's fantastic to be able to, you know, have a guitar like that and to have those memories. It means I'm always thinking back to those early memories from guitar, and I'm not ashamed of my musical tastes anymore. There are no guilty pleasures. They're all pleasures. Let's see what we got. I'm glad you chose the right school. As you might have guessed, I'm not an anthropologist, and it cost me to find that out. Did you go to school for anthropology? I don't really know anything about you, Amanda, so I don't want to make assumptions here. Oh, dude, yes. Joey Landreth is absolutely incredible. Him and Ariel Posen make me want to play slide guitar better, but I have no guitars set up to play slide very well. 18 people watching. This is pretty good for one of these live streams. Thank you all so much for joining in, and for those of you that have stuck around for the whole thing, you guys are the real deal. Let us know where you're from, people. Let us know you're watching, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you. All the support in the world. It means the most. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Diversity is a big thing for me in terms of, you know, music. If you just got to do it. Crawfish boil and barbecue. I don't know what crawfish boil and barbecue is, but I can make it make it up for you if you want. That's not in any way some sort of crawfishy thing. And here's another thing too, like when it comes to that diversity thing we've been talking about, like for a guitar player, it's easy to do stuff like but what if you need to do something just a little bit different, and what if the part doesn't call for, you need to be able to come up with a good that's a big thing, coming up with a little part like that, and then even knowing when to go to a different kind of sound and instead maybe a voicing like you know, for that layering kind of deal. Or even so, you take a lead playing with a pick is easy, but when you start incorporating, and this was a big thing that I picked up at MI, was hybrid picking. I'm just, you know, screwing around right now. Very little musical context, but having the ability to just pick up on little things, just little things behind, like playing closer to the bridge as opposed to playing up here, being able to discern these very little things. What is that chord? I'll figure it out eventually. Shit. Doug, thank you so much for joining in. Go to bed, man. It is almost 5 in the morning, but I appreciate you joining in. New demo coming up. I will have that up for you at 8 a.m. your time this Saturday, the new Neighbor Neuron. Check it out. I hope you enjoy it. Until then, have a good night, my friend. But it's all around good stuff, you know? I love it a lot. Okay, Amanda, you went to 2 universities. Oh boy. Yeah, I certainly understand that. I know a lot of people that went to, as I like to call it, they went to way too much school and didn't figure out things until way too late. But you know what? Doesn't mean you can't do anthropology on the side as a side gig. all around fun stuff. I didn't say graduated from those schools, more like the campus pubs. Oh boy. Good job. Good job. It's okay. As long as you figured it out when you were younger, you know? McDingus in the house! How is McDingus tonight? Dwight, I will break out the Bigsby for you. I should have changed the strings on this guitar as well. McDingus is wonderful. Fantastic. Terry, definitely got to agree with you on Tom Morello. He's kind of like the prototypical alternative guitar hero. Nobody is as inventive as him from that era with their playing. Nobody. And with such a minimal setup, too. All right. So here's the Bigsby, which I've had for several years. But it doesn't get used all the time. It's a great sounding guitar. Great playing guitar. Got a nice thin finish on it. Oh. Here we go. Yeah, made in 2003. So this is a 2003. It actually has... Oh no, 2009. So this is a 2009 studio with sort of the loose, transparent finish on it. And it's a great little guitar. Got a Vibramate on there, graphite nut. I actually have some electrical tape wrapped around here because it helps kill. This guitar gets overtones when recorded that tend to happen right around here and somewhere in the pocket where the strings go for the Bigsby. So when I record with it and I want the sound, especially these are some really aggressive sounding pickups. So when I want that sound of this guitar, but I don't want to get those really weird overtones, I will go ahead and I'll stick like a guitar polishing cloth in here, and then I'll wrap some electrical tape. So I keep like at least 4 rolls of electrical tape near in my toolbox at all times. And this actually, because of the Bigsby and because not everything is so... Actually, that doesn't even make any sense why the Bigsby would feel more slinky, but you know, this is tuned half step down like the normal Les Paul is. And I feel like it's... The only catch with it is because it has the Bigsby on it, it adds a significant amount of weight, so it's a little bottom heavy as opposed to being neck heavy or top heavy. But I like it. Great guitar. Feels great, sounds great. The finish is really thin, so it wears away in some very unique ways and some very interesting places. On the back here, it's a good one. Got my little stickers on there, but where the strap rubs up against the guitar, you can see it kind of start to go away there. Of course, where it sits on my lap, it's coming away a little bit, and then there's some cable and belt rash on there. There's some belt rash on the back here. This is one of the things that I love about guitars with thin finishes. They are just... It lets the guitar breathe a little bit more. But the way that the finish comes off the guitar is something really, really special, and something that I really, really like a lot. Man, you guys are having a good old time in the comments. Let's see what you guys are talking about. Yeah, Dwight, it's a little hard to change strings on a Bigsby, but I actually figured out a pretty easy way and a pretty quick way in order to get the string change rolling. So, you know, I might actually put that on a video sometime. It's probably not the safest thing in the world because it does involve a pair of needle nose pliers, and those do cut strings, but I have found it to work out really well for me over the years. Ben, the Vibramate is great. I think that the Vibramate stuff is perfect. I haven't had any issues with mine. Because the weirdest but cool style nowadays, Nick Reinhardt. Yeah, definitely. And he got a lot of that from... There's a great video on the Pedals and Effects channel where Nick interviews a guy named Spencer Seam, I think his name is. He was the guitar player in this duo band, guitar and bass, called Hella. They were around when I was in high school, and I used to go see them play in LA quite a lot. And he was doing a lot of that, like, two-handed tapping stuff, but he didn't incorporate nearly as many effects as Nick does, and he didn't do a whole lot of stuff with, you know, like Nick does a lot of great looping stuff with the DL4, so he didn't do that, but man, he had a style all his own. Very inventive player, very impressive. I do know about Mike Dawes, but I have not heard much of his stuff. But Tommy Emmanuel, yeah, definitely a guy. Pete Hickson, a brand new viewer in the house. How you doing, Pete? Thank you so much for joining in and chiming in on the conversation. Tommy Emmanuel is one of my favorites. Just a, wow, great, great stuff. I only think that would make that guitar as darker fretboard like ebony or maybe dark hardware. Yeah, probably. And I still have the stop tailpiece for it too somewhere, so if I ever wanted to take the Bigsby off, I could. So it's balanced like a true Les Paul. I don't know. This guy, he sits, she, I don't know. It sits fairly well on me. It doesn't fall down too much. And the BFG, yeah, I mean, it kind of stays where it's supposed to. This guy needs an intonation job badly, so I need to figure that out. Jay Steen getting with the Andy McKee stuff, man. Andy McKee, what's his song? Floating, sailing, something like that. I don't know. It's the one video of him where he had a much burlier beard and he was like completely shaven bald. I remember watching that in college and just like, who the hell plays guitar like that? And then we have John Gomm coming around with Passion Flower. Boy, that guy was the stuff, man. The top looks like a one of the Swamp Ash topped studios. I don't know if it's one of those, but I do remember them. I can very clearly see where the top is on this guitar. I'm wondering, because the grain pattern is very similar in certain spots, that I wonder, that'd be an interesting thing. I'm wondering if maybe this is just all mahogany. I don't know. But this is a very different sounding. All three of them sound different. None of them are the same. None of them. Mike Dawes covering one. I will have to look that up and watch that. Oh, Pete, you've been here all along just lurking in the background. No need to lurk in the background. You can come out and join us. It's all good. But seriously, I appreciate you joining in, especially taking part in the conversation. It's good to know you guys are watching. It really does mean a lot. I don't do this stuff for myself. I do it for you guys. So that means a lot to me. The old 11-pound ones were always tail heavy. I grew up playing 70s Les Pauls. Yo, back killers. Yes, the BFG does have the hardware. It's got the black bridge and stop bar, black Grover tuners, my Hello Kitty sticker. It's sort of become my Japanese culture guitar. Hello Kitty and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Every guitar that tends to stay in the collection gets a sticker at one point. Gaff tape for some reason. Beer artwork and vinyl, Violent Gentleman. New Japan Pro Wrestling and Hello Kitty. The work badge I got for the Steve Vai Passion and Warfare thing, and something a friend of mine made for me. Any elite Kenny Omega fans will recognize that. 7 stars. Gonna change the world. It's all good. Yeah, most stuff gets a little sticker. Most stuff. Was eating and watching. Just chucked a chips neck. My daughter would officially ask if I can buy the guitar given the Hello Kitty sticker. Cheaper just to get her the sticker. Well, probably not that sticker. That was a very special sticker. If you look real close, this is from the Japanese American Museum in downtown LA, and they had a whole exhibit about Hello Kitty and, you know, what it means in the context of Japanese culture and what it's done as a bridge to the American culture. So it was great. It was a great little exhibit. My wife wanted to go, but I had a blast. It was a lot of fun. So there you go. It was all good stuff. I've kind of lost track of time here tonight. What time is it? Oh, it's 10 after 9. Well, we've been going for I'm baking on her 4-year-old mind to not know the difference. That's true. Well, we've been going for quite a bit, and this has been fun. McDingus is a big hit in Japan. I bet you are. I bet you're a big hit in Japan. I'd like to be a big hit in Japan one day. They still like rock music. They actually still go to shows, too. Well, this has been fun, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in and joining in. We're gonna wrap it up now. We're at the 70-minute mark. But again, guys, thank you so much for joining in. It means the world. You know, I don't do this for myself. I do it for you guys. The next couple weeks are going to be very, very busy. We will have a live show next Thursday, same time, 8 p.m. Maybe we'll talk about some stuff. I'm going to try to work on something special for next week. But this Saturday, do tune in because the full in-depth demo of the new Neighbor Neuron is coming. After that, there's going to be some fun stuff happening. So I would probably make sure that you are subscribed and your notifications are turned on, because something might be coming out early next week. I don't know. It might. And then starting next Friday, we will begin the Matthews Effects Odyssey and Journey, as I have decided to call it. Starting with the Architect and then moving on into the Whaler again. And yeah, this is going to be, there's a lot of new videos coming out. And maybe after that, I might take a little break from the demos, but we'll keep doing the live streams because those are fun, and this is easy to do with you guys sitting right there, and we can chat and have all that good fun. So I want to thank you guys all so much: McDingus, Aaron, Albus Band, Ben, Charlie, Terry, Dwight, Jay, Amanda. Did I get you, Terry? Yeah, I got you, Terry. Pete, all you guys that have been commenting, and all of you that have been watching. Even if you haven't been leaving comments, RJ, you as well, my friend, it means a lot that you guys stick around. Please do, if you haven't already, click the subscribe button, turn on some notifications. If you also would be so kind as to share some of the video links around as they go up. As Aaron said, let's keep growing this little community. We might be doing some cool things towards the end of the month. I'm still reworking the patreon.com/Sean Pierce Johnson and all that good stuff. Please do consider becoming a patron. This demo game is fun, but it doesn't pay all the time. So if you have any way of helping me do this kind of stuff, greatly appreciate that. And until next week, my friends, I hope you all have an awesome weekend. I hope you all have a great start to your next week, and I will see you on Thursday. Until then, I wish you all great tone, happy stomping, and have a very pleasant evening. Cheers, my friends.